Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for some of the comments. I'm starting to get some new comments from my channel. It's helping out thing, and I've answered most of them that I've seen. But feel free to keep sending me comments, and let's do a little housekeeping, as we say. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. Please share, subscribe, and like. My name is Paul Courtwright, and this channel is all about experiencing my take on woodworking and some of the projects I do. Not the only thing, only way of doing things. It's just my way of doing it, and I make it fun. Hopefully you learn something. Share the videos, like them, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel to grow, and I appreciate everybody for stopping by. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make a train whistle. Something I haven't done in a long time, and I thought this would be kind of an interesting one. I'm going to batch out a bunch of them for my craft shows to give away to the kids, something to drive the parents nuts with. So I thought this would be an interesting project to do a video on, how to make a train whistle. This is my take on it. I know there's a ton of different ways to do it out there. This is just the way I do it. So hang tight and let's get started on today's project. All right, so today we're just going to take a basic piece of a 2x4, scrap piece of 2x4, and we're going to make a train whistle out of it. I apologize if you look around the shop when I move the camera around and you see, just to give you a heads up of what's going on. I'm actually working on a stint of making some pepper mills for craft shows. So I've got 37 blanks laying here on the table that I'm going to be working on in the next couple weeks. So that's my to-do project for what we're doing. But today we're going to do a train whistle. So let's get started on this, and we'll show you what we got and go from there. So let's go over to the bandsaw. Alrighty, so here I'm at the bandsaw. I apologize, my light broke. I don't have my light anymore over top here, so we'll have to deal with that. But basically what I want to do is cut a square out of this 2x4. And I'm just going to set my bandsaw up. And we're going to knock out two pieces out of that, and then we'll go from there. So let's cut this up. And you may have noticed that I've got a bigger blade on it now. Yeah, I broke my blade the other night. I was doing some work and had I think it was a 1/4 inch blade on it. It was an older one. Still was cutting good. Everything was good. And I got a little aggressive and I snapped the blade, which is what happened. So anyway, let's get back to our project. So I got my 2x4. I cut it up into, it's about 1 1/4 inch square. So the next step we got to do is we got to cut a top piece off for the mouthpiece of it. So, and it's just going to be about 1 inch or so, 3/4 of an inch long. Doesn't have to be exact. And we'll just cut that off the side. Use my kind of a square here to get that. Like I said, I'm kind of batching these out, so I'll cut these up and do that. So I got my piece here and a top piece, and that'll fit on top of there. So let's go back over to the bench and we'll mark out some stuff and I'll show you what we got next. So hang tight. All right, so I got my piece here, got my top part cut off. We're going to save that for a minute. We'll put that there. And I've got a 3/8 dowel, so I'm going to be drilling 4 little holes, 3/8 into there. So I need to measure over about 1/2 inch and put a mark all the way around this. So I just take, actually it's about 3/8 of an inch in. That's better. So I'm just going to put a mark all the way around like so. All right, so you come up with something like that, and then I'll drill my hole right there. 4 holes all around it. Now the trick to this is you got to drill a hole down in here. You got to make 4 holes, a little bit of a different depths in there. Let's go over to the drill press and let's drill our holes. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to drill our holes, and I got my 3/8 drill bit in the chuck here. Okay, and I made me a jig, basically this jig here. Took a 2x4, cut a 45 on it, so this piece will sit in there. If you got fancier drill press than I got, it's got a fence, you can put a board up there, hold it in, and all you have to do is sit there and spin it like this, and you get your holes in the same spot. But unfortunately, I got to deal with what I've got, and I don't have that option. So here we go, we're going to drill out our hole. We're going to drill as deep as I can go with the drill bit. And this is just a piece of pine, so it's nothing fancy. You know, that's as far as the drill bit will go. I'll drill my next one. I'm going to try to get them as close to 90 degrees as you possibly can. And they don't have to be exactly perfect, but you know. Last hole. And you do want to leave enough space around the outer edge because you got to glue that cap on there. So we got that part done. Okay, so now I got to take my bit out of my drill press, and we got to go over to the bench and put this in our bench so we can drill them deeper. So hang tight. All right, I got my bit and a drill bit, and if I go clear down with the first one, that's as far down as I can go because it'll go clear to the base. So I want to use, and that hole will beeline it. So let's drill this out and go from there. All right, so that's our deepest hole right there. So I'm going to drill on this side halfway down. I'll come up to about right in there somewhere. And then this one will be not quite as deep. About right there. So I got 4 different depths of holes. So that's what it looks like. You can't see down in the holes, but that's what it is. So that's that part. Let's go over to the bench. We got to mark out our end. All right, so this part here, we want to come down about maybe 3/4 of an inch. From that part right there, we want to scribe a line 3/4 of an inch. And we want to go all the way around. All right, so now we want to come down or find the center, since this is, if I remember right, this is like 1.5 inches. So we want 3/4 of an inch to the center. So we will find the center right there. Let's make sure we're good in the center. So we put a center mark there. Center mark. And a center mark. Now this, what we want to do is we want to cut a 45 notch in here. So we're going to mark this. And this doesn't have to be exact, but it's almost better if it's a little more than that. Let me grab the other. All right, so I got my little square angle thing here. So I just want to find my center part, and I'm going to come down 1.5 inches, and I'm going to put a mark that goes like that on all 4 sides. Turn around, do the same thing on this side. Like I said, these don't have to be exact. Because we're going to cut this off. Last one. Alright, so we should have something like that. Okay, now let's turn around and let's cut this off on the bandsaw. So hang tight. Alright, so I made this little jig to hold it. That's just basically a 2x4 with a 45 cut here, and then this angle here is irrelevant. It's just what makes it easier to run the blade through it. So I lay this in there like so. So I hold it like that, and then I can run my blade along here and cut that out. So let's cut her out. And it's easier to use something like this to hold it, to get your fingers away from that blade. So I'm going to lower my guard down a little bit, and we're going to cut that out. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. And that's what we're cutting out. Do that all 4 sides like that. Okay, so we got all 4 sides cut out. Now we just got to cut that 90 off there. This is where that piece comes in handy again. We just go straight in. You should have something like that. Showing the signs like that. That's what we need right there. All right. So we got that part done. Now, let's turn around here for a second. All right. So we take our dowel and we need to put a piece in there. It's going to be about that long. So I'm going to cut up 4 pieces off about like right there. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces about that long. So hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, we got our 4 pieces cut off here, okay, and we need to sand a flat spot on this. So let's come over to the sander and we'll do a little bit of sanding. All right, so I take my little piece, and you just got to be careful. And as you can see, that's all we sanded off. Now we take our little whistle, and we take this, let's go over to the bench where it's easier to see. So I take this and I put this in place here, and it's easier to use a pair of pliers to shove it down in there. And you want to get it so it's just flush. And you want to keep that bevel part right to that corner. Okay, we don't have enough off because it didn't make a sound. So let's be right back. I'll sand a little bit more off. All right, so we got our piece done. We can shove that in there. Like I said, line it up. And you hear it starting to go in there. Okay, so I need just a hair more off, not much. Shoving it in there, lining it up. That's better, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, so I'm going to take just a smidgen more off. That's better. All right, so we do all 4 of them like that, and then we'll glue them in. So let's, I'll do the rest of them and be right back. All right, so we got them cut and we're ready to go. Let's just glue them in real quick. And then while that's drying, we'll cut the top of it. So put just a dab of glue on it. I mean, we're talking just small amount. I put it in. We turn it. And we push it in. Okay. It's a little light, but that's all right. Put a little bit more on this. A couple of them sound better than the other ones, but that's to be expected. So you see, I'm just putting a little dab of glue on there. Smear it around a little bit. And last but not least, last one. I'm just pushing it in. All right, it's not quite perfect, but there we go. All right, let that, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, making sure that the flat spot is turned, that one moved. So I'm looking to make sure they're on the corners. Now it'll look good. This one looks a little bit turned. There. All right. That one needs a little bit more glue. That's better. Okay, we'll let that dry and we'll cut our top. All right, so we got our top piece here. Fits on top of there. We want to just make a cross on it to get the find the center of that. So we just take our square and go basically from corner to corner. So we got our center part there. Now we want to drill a hole halfway down through there. So let's go over to the drill press and drill the hole. All right, so I got an inch and I think it's an inch and a 1/16. Yeah, inch and a 1/16 bit. I'm gonna drill a hole right in the center there, about halfway down on this. And probably the easiest way is to get a small clamp and hold it with a clamp instead of your fingers. I got a parallel clamp here that I'll use, and putting that in there, you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but you'll get the idea. Better safe than sorry. There. I'll turn it around so that you somewhat can see. Yeah. And I just want to put it in the center. Go about halfway down. About the thickness of that Forstner bit. I'm not pushing it, I'm just letting the bit drill. Right there. All right. So we got that part done. That's what we got right there. So, and I got a, I think this is like a 3/16 bit. We're going to put that in our drill. And we're going to drill our center part out. So hang tight. All right, so we're going to drill our center out. That's all it takes there. And then we'll do a little sanding. So when I said sanding, I guess I'm going to take off here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to round this off with my little Dremel. Clean that corner out like that. Just take the corner, inside corner out. And I'll be right back when I get that done. All right, so you see what I got done there? So I got that. That'll go on top of there. So we're going to take and go over to the bandsaw. We're going to cut them all off so that we can glue this piece on top of there. So let's go to the bandsaw. All right, so we're at the bandsaw, and I'm just going to cut them pieces off. And that's what we have. And now what we need to do is glue this onto there. Like that. Okay. Let me get it over and get it set up so we can glue. All right, so we got our piece here. We're going to stick that on there and glue that onto there. Let me clean up the base. All right, I just wanted to make that flat so it fits better. Take a little glue. And we'll put a little glue on it. And stick that on top of there. Stick it in our clamp. And let that dry for a few minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll finish her off. So hang tight. All right, so we left her dry a little bit. We'll take her out of our clamp. And now what we'll do is we'll clean it up, shape it a little bit, do some final sanding on it, and we'll see what she does. So let's go over to the sander. All right, so we're at our sander. We're just going to clean up the edges and do a little shaping on it. I'm just going to kind of round soften these edges a little bit. Okay, so we got our basic cleaned up pretty good, I think. Look there. All right, let's go over to the bench and we'll test her out and see how it does. All right, so here back at the bench. Sorry about the mess. So there's our whistle. Let's see how it works. I think it's a winner. We've got it. So let's get you up here where you can see me. And, all right, so that's my whistle here. I think it worked out pretty well. Nice little thing. I'm going to give these, make a bunch of these, give them away as craft shows. So if you managed to get to one of my craft shows this weekend, or well, not this weekend, but coming up, my first one's in April out in Tip City. Please feel free to stop and ask me about the whistle and tell me you've seen it on YouTube, seen me build a whistle, and I'll be happy to give you a whistle here. So with that being said, let's see what we can get into and go from there. All aboard! Have a good night, and thank you for stopping by. Again, please feel free to share, subscribe, like, and hope you enjoy my videos. Leave a few comments below or send me an email and tell me what you think about my train whistle. Have a good night.